Welcome back to Milan Recording Studios. My name is James Pavlashakras, and in today's video I'm going to be doing a couple things, and the main thing I'm going to be doing is covering a very famous song, which of course is Despacito. I believe it's the first Spanish song that I've ever performed on the channel, and I hope that you guys enjoy it. Now before I get into the cover, I wanted to do a brief little mention here of this keyboard that I'm going to be using in the song. This is a Kawai MP11SE, and I'm using it in this video, in this song, for three reasons. One of them is it was loaned to me by Benjamin Kim of Kim's Pianos, and I want to use it as much as possible in my videos. It's a fantastic keyboard, and I absolutely love using it. The second reason I'm using this instead of my Steinway Concert Grand is because my Steinway Concert Grand isn't at the studio yet. So that's another reason I'm using a keyboard instead of a real acoustic piano. And the third reason I wanted to use this is because it's a good segue into a little shameless self-promotion I wanted to do, which is that this keyboard is going to be featured in an upcoming video series where I compare it as well as many of the other top brands of the keyboard industry today against each other. I'm going to be comparing this along with many of your favorite brands that you love. Some of the most famous brands out there, some of the most well-known, will be in this video series. I'm going to be comparing them face-to-face, head-to-head, side-by-side, all that good stuff, comparing all the different sounds, comparing them to real vintage equipment that they attempt to replicate, all that cool stuff. So if that sounds cool, if you like keyboards, thinking about buying one, you want to see how they compare, you might like that video series. But anyway, back to the cover. I hope you guys enjoy hearing this as well. As I said, I believe it's the first Spanish song I've ever performed on my channel, which is going to be very fun. It's a very famous song. It's almost kind of infamous. It came out a couple years ago. The radio stations never stopped playing it, so I think many people started to grow a bit of a distaste for it. It became the subject of many memes on the internet, and I believe the current one going around, at least based on the comment section of the original video, is that people are just sitting around waiting for the original video the view count to surpass the world's population. I think that's what they're waiting for. And that's all the discussion is on the comment section of the original video. But I hope you guys enjoy hearing Despacito performed with the MP11SE, my vintage Ludwig drum set, a 1973 Fender Rhodes suitcase, and a Musser M500 Marimba. I hope you guys enjoy. So hopefully you guys enjoyed hearing Despacito. It's a bit of a different thing than the original, but of course it does sound like the original as well. You can hear the original melody in there. I did change a few things. I wanted to change a few other things, but strangely enough, they didn't actually work. One of the things I had noticed when I listened to the original is that the drum beat was surprisingly generic. It was literally, from what I can hear, just a bass drum. And that's it throughout certain parts of the song. And my first thought was, I'm going to put a cool Latin beat in there, because obviously, why not? And I tried to do that, and it actually didn't really work all that well. It didn't really mesh very well with the melody. So I figured that must have been the reason why they went with such a simple, generic beat. So I went with also a relatively simple, generic beat, just a really simple rock beat. I used a two-handed hi-hat thing during the little Rhodes solo, which I think sounded kind of cool, but other than that, the beat was really pretty simple. And that's why, because a more complicated beat didn't seem to mesh very well with the melody and the rest of the piece. The MP11SE did a fantastic job. It really has a warm sound in the mid-range, which is why I love it. It's one of the few keyboards that I know of that has a really rich, warm sound, and it went really, really well with the piece. And the Rhodes, I think, also went really well with the piece. That's behind me. You can probably see it back there. That went really well with the piece as well. The intro sounded beautiful and amazing. The intro to the original song, which they actually never played on the radio before, the cool intro with the broken chords and stuff, they never actually played that. That sounded really great on the Rhodes. In the original, it was a classical guitar or just a guitar of some sort, but it sounds really nice on the Rhodes as well. And the marimba, of course, also mixes really well. That's one of the few things in the piece that really, to me at least, kind of gives that kind of Spanish or, you know, that kind of vibe, because instruments like that, marimbas and things like that, are used a lot down in the tropics. It kind of has a cool tropical sound to it, to me at least, so I think it fit really nicely. If I had some steel drums, I probably would have tried to put those in there too, but I don't have steel drums here, unfortunately. But I think those probably would have fit really well in this piece. I was thinking about that when I was performing it, and I was like, oh, I wish I had those. Those are so cool. But the marimba, I think, fit really well, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the piece. Hopefully you guys think that it went together as well as I did. And I hope you guys enjoyed the little Rhodes solo there. There was kind of like a little, it wasn't quite rap, but it wasn't quite singing. It was kind of a mesh between the two. And I tried to perform the exact melody when I was learning the piece, but it didn't really work that well. A lot of repeated notes, really fast, didn't really work. So I decided to write my own solo. I was kind of inspired by some of the melodies that the singer there used, because some of those did work and they actually did sound kind of cool. So the beginning part of the solo, as well as a little part of the middle, was kind of a lot like what the original part was. But I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you guys enjoyed the original piece, and I hope that you guys are interested in the upcoming video series where I compare many of the top keyboards of the world today, the Kawai MP11SE, many of your favorite brands, the most famous ones, the most well-known ones, the household names in the keyboard industry. Many of those will be featured in that video series. So if you guys think that might be cool, you might want to think about subscribing. If you're liking these covers, you might want to think about subscribing as well. And if you do all that, thank you very much. Make sure to go ahead and give this video a like. And if you do that, thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.